I always love letting you guys be a fly on the wall because there's a lot that happens in between podcast episodes. In the collective, I am teaching a lesson. We are having group coaching times. We are answering questions. We're making progress. I'm answering emails. All kinds of things are happening. I'm meeting with clients one on one. We're making progress. We're laughing. We're guiding. We're consulting on what should come into the home, what shouldn't, and we are anticipating fun changes. All kinds of things happen. And so instead of today you being a fly on the wall, where you are hearing a conversation, me coaching someone inside of either the collective or a one-on-one call, you get to hear a progress report. And you've heard a couple throughout the year. This is such a fun conversation I'm having with Loraine. She came to me, I think, earlier in September-ish, August-ish, and with a real desire to figure things out on her own. She finally has some time. You're going to hear about the time that she has to really dedicate to creating and kind of refreshing her space. After a while, spaces can feel a little stale. And so hers was feeling just that. So she came to me, and you get to hear the progress. We laugh, we joke, we talk about all the good. We talk about ways that I pushed her to do some things that were a little bit maybe what she didn't want to do. And you get to be that fly on the wall today. So, friend, enjoy today's behind the scenes conversation with Loraine as she shares her experience of working with me both in one-on-one calls and inside of the collective. And friend, if you have not yet registered for the 3 steps to creating a home you can't stop gushing about, you're going to want to do that. You'll hear Loraine talk about how important learning your aesthetic is, and that's what I'm teaching, as well as a couple other things that she is talking about, she mentions inside of our conversation. We're diving deep. Now, if you are weary about coming to a workshop and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm just going to be sold to the entire time, hey, trust me, I have been to those, and those are the worst experiences ever. I don't like them. And because I don't like them, that is not what this is. This is a teaching moment where I get to pour into all of you in a very classroom-like setting. The only difference between that and you coming into my home or a classroom is it's virtual. So you can literally be around the world coming in and having this conversation and finally learning what your design style is. Because spoiler alert, those quizzes are not going to tell you a thing. So come and register for that by coming to bit.ly/spring 2026 workshop. And I am going to pour into you for 2 days the 3 steps to creating a home you can't stop gushing about. Wouldn't that be great? All right, enjoy today's show. We grew up with the phrase, home is where the heart is. But our culture has shifted, and now the message is, home should be Pinterest perfect. I'm calling BS on that message. Home, it's not about the stuff, it's about the story. And whether you know it or not, your home is a reflection of you and is already saying something. So what is it that you want it to say? Hey, I'm Danny, a former first grade teacher turned home decorator. Going from a dual income to a single income so I could stay home with my babies meant budget, like ramen eating, Goodwill shopping budget. And I learned a few things along the way, like how to bring big style to your home without breaking the bank. And I'm sharing it all with you. Tips, tricks, decor, and design advice so you can learn to tell your story with your style. Where you can start living free from the Pinterest perfect trap and start living a life of intention. Welcome to Fig and Farm at Home, where we design happy living and where it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. Hi, Loraine. Thanks for joining me today on the show.
Hi, Danny. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have this conversation with you, and it has been such a joy working with you and kind of getting to know you, well, of course you, but your home and all the spaces we've been working on. I've already introduced you to my listeners, but tell us a little bit about who you are and how you found the show.
Very interesting, I think. My name is Loraine, and I'm now recently retired by a year. and very happy about that. I have not regretted that decision at all. Um, I have always loved interior decorating. I have no background in it. I just love color and just love to play with things around the house. But, working full time and having children and a family, it just isn't always easy to spend time doing the things you love after, your crazy day.
Yeah.
So I've sort of been putting things in the back burner on a bucket list and wanting to get started. So last year when I retired, I decided I'm going to paint a few of the different floors of the house, which basically include like a kitchen, a living room, a dining room, a family room, which are 2 floors worth, and go from there. So since I love color and everything I've done has always been very farmhouse country. We live in the country. It's just the ambiance of the area, and I've always loved it, roosters and animals and all kinds of figurines and things. And I've also have a lot of furniture that's been handed down to me from family members, from my husband's family, my family, grandparents, parents. So it's very eclectic, but I've always wanted it to be warm and welcoming. And I think that anyone that walked into the house always felt that way. Everyone always complimented what I did, but I wanted to break out of that. I wanted to start doing things that I enjoy doing and putting into my home pieces that I really always wanted to have. Because we've been married 34 years, so it's been a long time, and I think I've given great compliments to all family members by obtaining their items and showing them off to all the family members over the years, but it's time to upgrade and modernize a little.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I started painting the rooms, and I went bold, and I had different shades of turquoises, which is what I loved. And because we love the ocean, so I guess I was sort of on that mode too, and it was
Mhm.
springtime. And while I was doing it, I was just thinking to myself, and then I started listening to music, and then I was like, gee, why don't I listen to podcasts? My daughter's always telling me, Mom, listen to podcasts. I have great podcasts I can send you. So I started to do that, and I was like, you know what? Why didn't I start listening to interior design podcasts? And so with that, I did, and I just typed in interior design, and you popped up. And so I was like, okay, well, this is a woman, so that's good. So let me see what I could do. And so I started listening to you and your voice and your happiness about what you do, and the fact that you're so upbeat and so kind, and you kept stressing how to work with what you have, to learn how to not spend any money.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, that's very interesting, because you do want to just run out and you get an idea and like, I'm just going to go buy that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you just sort of put everything to a halt and said, let's take it one step at a time. And I was like, okay, well, I'm painting, so that's where my colors will come from. Let me start there. And anyway, I kept listening. I went back to old podcasts that you had, and I was listening to a whole list of them. And I was trying to get up the confidence to reach out to you because I'm not really good with that. And I'm definitely not good with the computer. So if I had to go to Facebook, which I didn't have, or any of these things, I was like not comfortable.
Yeah.
Zoom, definitely not comfortable. So I was like, well, maybe I could call you on the phone. I'm like, well, that's not going to work because that's how it works these days.
Yeah.
So I finally got up the courage, and it was the best move I ever made in my life.
Oh,
It
what a
really was.
compliment. Oh,
It's so true, but it's so funny because when we started to talk and I was showing you my home, which is great because I can just do that through Zoom. It's so
yeah.
easy to work with you that way. And you saw what I did, and you were so sweet at trying to tell me, yes, your colors are pretty, but they're not going to meld the way you think they will. And the bottom line was, you need to repaint what you just
Oh.
painted. And I was inside, like thinking, how can I do this? How can I possibly start over again?
Yeah.
But the more I looked around and the more I understood what you were saying, it really made sense.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I did. And basically putting the whole first floor in the same color scheme was the best move I made
Yeah.
because it was very synonymous then. Also, you had mentioned how moving items like from one room to the next, if you wanted to, you know how that can change the whole look of a room and you're
Hmm.
not buying anything new.
Right.
Like little tidbits that you teach along the way that make sense when you say it, but you don't necessarily think of it on your own.
Right. Right.
Um,
Or can't really translate it to your own home. Like what does that mean in my home? Right. Unless you had that person looking over your shoulder and saying, "Oh, that piece right there, let's try it." Yeah.
right. You know, and also you're teaching us how you're thinking. You know, a lot of times, like if you have an interior designer do it for you, okay,
Mhm.
that's going to look beautiful, but okay, why did she pick that item for you to purchase, or why
Mhm.
did she put it there and not on the other side of the room, or how did you pick that color for the wall when I would have picked a totally different color, and
Mhm.
you know that rug or something. So having a very purposeful, methodical way to go about designing a room. Once you learn that, having a mood board, you know, putting things on paper, taking, you know, like the poster board and painting it and putting it up
Mhm.
against the wall so it's a bigger swatch and
Yeah.
seeing, is that really going to work? Or should I have picked a different color? Um, Also, you know, a key, which I think most people do realize, is that keeping your walls a lighter shade of a color is the greatest thing because that's one area that takes work and
Mhm.
you'd have to redo it over and over if
Mhm.
you're going to make bold statements. You
Right.
know, in my
Right. And
kids'
we're
room,
still making, I mean, we'll come back to it, but we're making a lot of bold statements, even with a lighter color shade
right.
on your downstairs wall. I mean, you're going pink and it's so much fun. And you've got some of those like Lady Vespa, that antique that you have in your corner of your dining room. So you're definitely not going subtle at all. Um, I love that you just mentioned that. Okay, let's back up for just a second.
Okay.
Because you mentioned so many good things here, but one of the things I really want to touch on is what was the thing you mentioned a lot of hesitations. One was um, I don't know how to use Zoom. I don't like, can I just call her? I am not really good at tech. Um, and I don't think you said this in this conversation, but you've said it before, like, what is she gonna say?
Mhm.
What's what is the judgment on the other side of the screen? What finally made you say, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Do you remember that moment? I don't know that I know that moment.
I think it was the fact that I was changing what I always gravitated towards. I wanted to modernize the house, but I didn't want to make it so modern that I was out of touch with it. Like I'm
Mhm.
not minimalist. That's the right term.
Yeah.
I'm not considered a minimalist by any means because we have so much stuff over the years. We've built quite an empire of things. But also, oh, in your podcast, you mentioned about it's okay to let go of some items. And that got me thinking also because I'm like, what do I do? How do I make these things work when I have roosters and little piggies and little cows and all these little country things
Yeah.
all over the place? Like I can't just repaint them. They're still going to be what they are. You know,
Right.
what do I do? Like I was really stuck is how do I know what I'm looking for, but I don't know how to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And from the things that you were saying is how you would work with us and that no matter what we needed in our home, you would keep it financially at a minimum. It's
Hmm.
not like you were going to say to us, okay, take everything out of the room, get rid of it, and buy all new stuff.
Yeah.
And I started listening on some of the podcasts. You had other women that you were talking to that were redoing their home, and they were saying, like, I really like my dining room set, but it's just old. Like, what can I do with it? And
Hmm.
a lot of DIY, which was also something being
Yeah.
retired. I have time and I've always wanted to do that. So, okay, tell me, what can I do
Yeah.
to work with what I have? Okay, maybe some things have to go, but how can I make certain things better? And, you know, like refinishing furniture, you can take an old piece. And even though it has that older look, it still can be more modernized.
Right.
And that really appealed to me, but I didn't know how to do it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? Also, one of the big things recently is how to start a room and how to end it. And
Yeah.
then with seasons, like, okay, we talked about like at Christmas, everybody was talking about decorating, and like the collective is wonderful. It,
Oh,
it's a place where you stressed and people follow it, where everyone is really, I think it's their personalities too that gravitate towards you
yeah.
because of you. They're all sweet, they're all genuine. And I love the fact that all of us go on Zoom together. We all get to know each other. So we say hi. We're all in different states or countries.
Yeah.
So, Australia, different
Yeah.
places. And it's not like we can visit each other, but yet we do for that hour, or two
Right.
hours once a month. And we get to talk to each other, and you advise us. And everyone's style is so different,
Oh, so different. Yes.
but you can appreciate each
Yeah.
other's style. And no one
Yeah.
says, like, oh, I would never have that kind of look. This is my look. Like, you
Right.
don't feel that way.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
welcoming. And you
I
get a
am
hit.
so glad you said that because, that has been the heart of not only who I am as a person, but the business I'm building. I mean, I want people like Loraine, I don't know if you knew this, but I grew up in a home where I did not want people coming over to my home. If they came over unannounced, I would have been absolutely humiliated. And I love my parents, but my mom spent so much time in the gardens and they were immaculate and gorgeous and all the things. But the house was like, that's overwhelming. I'm going to shut the door and I don't know how to get rid of things because I grew up in the Depression era. So I'm keeping every teeny tiny little thing. That was my experience. And I don't want anyone to feel like that about their home. So one of the questions I always get is, what do I do if I feel embarrassed about my home? Well, sister, let me tell you, I've been there. I've been there, and we want to change that because your homes are such a respite. So thank you. That was one of the best compliments I've ever had is having people come into our meetings, whether it's one-on-one or in the collective when we do the group coaching, and they feel welcome and every style is appreciated. And that's really, I'm just going to camp on this for 1 second. That's really the goal of learning your own design style is being able to know I like these, we'll say 10 things. This is my style. These 10 things make my style, but I can appreciate those other things, those other 10 things of other people's, that other style of someone else's, but it doesn't mean that I have to bring it into my home. And one of the things I love about you, now people are not going to watch this, but what I'm looking at right behind you is this beautiful, bold, peacock color, and I'm calling it peacock, it is not that name, peacock colored room that so many people are afraid of color and you are not. You are embracing it. You're embracing that light pink downstairs. And can you talk to that for just a second? Like what is it like when you're and you don't know this question's coming, but what is it like when you are browsing Pinterest or Google Photos or magazines or even Instagram if you're on Instagram and you see all of the kind of monochromatic whites and light browns. What is it like for you? Because your mind is so colorful. What is it like to think, I want to do my own thing? Because you're definitely doing your own thing.
Yes, I definitely live out of the box. I love looking at that too, but sometimes to me it's just too plain and simple. Like I have to say, the other room downstairs, which is where when my kids come home to visit, because they're grown and on their own, I want some place where they can go and sort of have some solace. They can
Yeah.
escape the insanity of a party that's usually going on here, and that's why they're home.
Yeah, with a
Or
large
just
Italian family. Yeah.
exactly. And just have a nice room because it's really like it's a huge room downstairs. It mimics this room here. So it's a great place. I mean, it could really be considered like a studio apartment, even though it's
Yeah.
it's just like one big room. Um, and that's going to be in more of the cream shades, and
Hmm.
I'll just perk it with some deeper color, like maybe a navy throw, or I don't know, some bold color to go across and
Yeah.
perk it a little. But I want that to be very soothing. It's a respite room. It's where they'll sleep. It's where they'll put all their things and just call their own while they're here.
Yeah.
So I try to also go with moods, like the living room, dining room, kitchen, where it's light pink. you walk into those rooms and you can come and eat a meal and you don't feel like it's bright red and it's like
Hmm.
attacking you.
Yeah.
Or you go to sit in the living room and watch the fireplace and read a book and you have that soft pink around you and it's just very relaxing and comforting.
Yeah.
But up here with the Peacock, this is our bar room, this is our TV room.
Uh-huh.
I
I
wanted
call
to
it
be,
the speakeasy. We're in the
yeah,
speakeasy.
it's lively up here. I mean, when
Yeah.
everybody comes over, this is where we all gather. So each room I sort of have, they have purposes, and that's
Yeah.
something that you mentioned. What do you want to do in that room? What is it
Mhm.
for? Not just you want to make it look a certain way. Well, is that going to work for you? As
Yeah.
in your examples with Pinterest. You might find a room on Pinterest that you think is absolutely gorgeous. That is not your house. It's
Yeah.
just not going to work for you. And you
Mhm.
have to have that reality. You have to understand that. And like you would be proud of me. The other day I was out shopping. It was getting close to Valentine's Day. And I was thinking, what should I do? Should I pick something out and ask my husband to get it for me? Or should I just let him do his thing? And I was in Home Sense and Home Goods because I had something over there that I had to return. And then I'm just walking around and I've been looking for something for my dining room table, like a nice, it's a big table. It
Yeah.
seats 10. So I wanted some kind of bowl, and I always thought of a dough bowl
Uh-huh.
because it's so long.
Yeah.
But I can't really find any that are in marble at a good length and also a good price.
Right.
And so I started looking at Amazon, and the ones I was looking at that were just not dough bowls, but just big bowls, and they were marble, were hundreds, like
Yeah.
two, three, $400. So I happened to be in Home Goods and I walk by and somehow they're starting to get these in. So I don't know, maybe it's a new craze right now, but I saw a few of them that were just drop dead gorgeous. And when I flipped them over, they were like 50, 60, $70.
Yeah.
And I hadn't gone to Amazon yet. So I was just like, oh gosh, I'm not spending that kind of money. Like, no, not doing it. They're not on sale. There's no sticker, not happening.
Right.
But this one I saw was just driving me crazy. I know me. If I leave, I go home,
Uh-huh.
I think about it. If
Yeah.
I go back and it's still there, it's meant to be. That's how
Yeah.
it is with that store, right? Sometimes I'll buy it, but then I have to return it if it doesn't work. But I was like, nope, Danny said, don't buy it. So I came home and I thought about it and I told my husband, and I'm like, if you haven't gotten me anything for Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
I know it's like $60, but I saw this bowl and I really want to get it. I'm getting up tomorrow. I'm getting over to the store when they open. Hope nobody took it and I'm going to buy it. So I get there the next day and I look at it again and I'm like, this is gorgeous, but it's not going to work. And I was like, okay, Loraine, why are you saying this to yourself? And I said,
Yeah.
as Danny said, to think about the style. If you might like it, but if it doesn't work for you, you really shouldn't buy it. And
Yeah.
the thing was, it was this gorgeous marble bowl and it had texture and all the little things that you talk about. But the design in it, when I really looked at it, it reminded me so much of a seashell.
Oh,
And my
yep.
dining room is formal, and if anything, it's more vintage. I don't know, Victorian. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
not, that's not it.
Yeah.
Not nautical. I was like, you can't buy this. You just can't. So I kept looking and I'm thinking marble, marble. And I found this bowl that was smooth finish
Okay.
and marble, and it's like scalloped, but in different ways. It's not just your basic scallop.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? It's now $60 or $70, forget. I'm doing it. And I
Okay.
know it wasn't on sale, but it was the right purchase. And
Good.
I,
Oh,
I was so proud of myself. You should see me in the store. I took both bowls, I put them on top of, how they always have furniture there,
right,
put them
right.
on top of the furniture, and I'm looking at them. I'm walking around. I'm like, I don't know. Let me see. Would this look good? And then I was like, I'm sorry. I really love you, but you're not going to work in my home. I'm going to buy this
Oh,
one. And
that is so
it was,
good.
it was
What
so cool.
do you think, like, back up 2 years, do you think you would have gotten that first bowl?
Oh, most
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, I wouldn't have liked the price because I'm like a sale shopper or
Yeah.
discounts or whatever, but definitely would have. And you know what else you talk about? It's just pretty funny. While I was there the day before, there was another bowl that I could barely lift it. It was so heavy.
Yeah.
And it does have a very rough finish to it.
Okay.
It's probably some kind of resin, ceramic, whatever. Same kind of idea, but very rustic. No, not rustic, rough.
Yeah.
And anyway, for some reason, it had a few chips. That's what the reason was. It was marked down to $9.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
huge. And
Yeah.
so I left it. When I went back the next day, I grabbed it because I was like, I don't care if I have to spray paint this thing. Like, I can make this work
Right.
downstairs where I'm
Yeah.
going to redo the bedroom. Have a big bowl the kids could throw their keys, their wallets, whatever into, put it on the table.
Yep.
So I'm already like, I know I'm all over the place in different rooms, but as things pop up,
Yeah.
I'm actually feeling what you've done has given me confidence. Like these little light bulbs are going on.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
would, I was so proud of myself. I was like, Daddy,
yay.
I'm so happy.
I am. That makes me so that's the whole goal because, when we're approaching our rooms and it feels so overwhelming, like the decisions at Home Goods or Home Sense are so overwhelming. Heaven forbid we go to like the paint aisle or we're redoing, doing a remodel and making decisions on tile or countertops or
Mhm.
things that are more costly. So I am thrilled, thrilled, thrilled that you feel confident, more confident. And before I forget, I can't wait to help you maybe fill in some of those holes in that resin because I definitely have some
Oh,
ideas
okay.
later down the
Great.
road for how to do that. But I love that. Okay, tell us. So you've alluded to some really great things here, but we've worked and we've covered a lot of square footage in your home. I mean, we've talked
Hmm.
about downstairs, upstairs in the I'm calling speakeasy, and then downstairs in your kind of guest suite for your family members. What room it has been the most favorite or most fun for you to work on, would you say?
Hmm. I've really been enjoying the living room,
Yeah. How come?
dining room. Um, because that pink is such a soft, gentle pink, and it's so relaxing. And we've just been spending so much more time in that room. That was always like the Italian living room where you don't touch it, you look at
Yeah.
it, and it's like not really comfortable, and it looks nice,
Yeah.
but it's got grandma's this and that, and you just, let's
Right.
just admire it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and now it's like we can actually live in here, it's so
Yeah.
cozy and warm. And even our little dog, I mean, we put his little bed down there. We got him an extra bed and he just runs down and sits with us while we're reading and watches the fire. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
as
that's
far as
adorable.
being like that one is just, I just love it. As far as having fun and entertainment, the Peacock Room is definitely it. I mean, we had with this bar that my husband built, he's still finishing touches on it, but we had a bunch of friends over from the neighborhood on New Year's Eve and
Oh,
all
fun.
hung out around the bar all night and just
Yeah.
had a great time. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
it's so much fun when you're physically doing things, you're saving money, you're
yeah.
improving your home, you're making it what you want it to be, but it looks great. And not that we're doing it for other people, but it is nice when people walk in and say, wow,
Yeah.
that really looks good. And you're like,
Oh,
yeah, I did it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did it. And you were such a sponge, Lorraine. You were like, you were one of those ideal client slash students who ask questions along the way. I mean, I'm constantly talking, right? Oh, let's do this. But you are the one who's asking the question, why, what are you thinking about that? Why, and you alluded to it before, but why are you putting it on that side rather than this side? Or what makes you think that this color is actually maybe not quite the best match here. So kudos to you because you're the one doing it. I'm just giving you a little bit of guidance along the way, but you're putting in the work. And also, we need to shout out Frank
We do.
because because he has built that scaffolding how many times now in the
Mm,
last 6 months in order to finish
mhm.
painting the room,
Yeah.
redo the room. So blessings to him for
Yeah.
being willing to say, I'll do it, even though I don't want to do it. I mean, you did the
Yeah.
work, you did the painting, but he had to build the scaffolding for you.
Well, and honestly, he had to do the painting on top of the scaffolding because I was not going to climb up there.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
was too scary. So he really
Oh,
saved me on that. I
Yeah.
was
But
very
you know
lucky.
what? We saved him $4,000, $5,000 because remember we
Yes,
said we're going to keep the couch.
that's
Okay, it's a
right.
give and take.
Also, we didn't have to hire a painter.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. Which honestly, gosh, you know, wonderful that people can do that, but that is
Mhm.
one of the best ways that you can make a dramatic change in your home.
Yes.
And if you can do it yourself, you are literally saving thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And I will advocate that for that until I am blue in the face. It's an easy lift if you have the time. And you don't even have to be so good at it. You just need to know a few of the skills, getting the
Right.
edger and being patient and having a wet rat. Like you need to be aware of those things, but perfection is not necessarily the goal. Change is, and change that's in alignment with your story is, and yeah, an easy DIY.
Yeah.
Um, all right, and you've already mentioned some of the things that you've learned from me, but is there one thing that you're like, oh my gosh, that was the biggest aha moment, or a takeaway that you just kind of weren't expecting?
I think honestly, the biggest aha moment was me relenting to the fact that after I just did all that painting on the first floor, I was going to have to redo it. And I was just like, I just, I know I have to trust Danny. Like, I just know this is going to be the right thing to do. But
Yeah,
it took me a few weeks to talk myself into it because I had just finished it
yeah,
and I knew what was in store. It was very fresh in my mind to
yeah,
have to start again. But I just knew you were right. And I was like, why didn't I see this before I did it?
yeah.
And I think that was a big part of, like, I always would have loved to have an interior designer's input,
Hmm.
but I always felt like I didn't want someone to come in. Like, I have family members that their homes look beautiful, but they hired designers and they came in and they did a beautiful job, but they say, well, I did this, but I know they didn't do it. Whereas I didn't want that.
Yeah,
Whether someone knew or not, I wanted the gratification to
yeah,
know I did it myself. Or, like you had said in some of the podcasts, when you learn how to do these things and you understand why, then you can redo it over and over if you want. So,
hmm,
in other words, like, say it's Christmas and you're doing Christmas decor and now you're moving to a new season because it's getting warm. All right, you take down your Christmas designs that someone else put up for you. Now what do you do with your house?
yeah,
So here you're learning like what's going to work and how to make things meld and allowing you to go, like, one of my aha moments was when you said in one of your podcasts you want your home to be cohesive so that you could maybe move a picture from one room to the other and not
yeah,
have to buy a new picture, just do some swapping from
hmm,
room to room of the tchotchke items and make them look new again, make the
yeah,
rooms look new or refreshed. And I was like, holy cow, like that makes so much sense.
yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
especially when your budget is so limited. I mean, you've already like
Mhm.
vetted these items. They're maybe things that you brought home from vacation, things that you got from, grandma or your mom or whoever, and you're wanting a refresh. And instead of going to the store, how fun is it to go to to the upstairs and say, I'm going to grab this from this
Right.
living room and put it in that living room. And now you have a whole new look. So when your friends come over, they can say, What is happening? I thought you were on a skimpy budget. But you already have it and it just works. It's one of my very favorite uh, tricks is to just create that cohesive landscape so you can move it room to room whenever you want to and season to season. One of my friends she's a decorator too, but she asks me a lot. She's like, where do you store this stuff?
Mhm.
And honestly, it's in plain view. I store my stuff in plain view. I just move it from room to room to room so it looks fresh, it looks new. It's kind of like styling when I had my shop, it's kind of like styling that, like move it from one shelf, make a different arrangement down here, and the new person who's coming in, they think it's brand new product when it really isn't. It's just been moved and it's yeah, there's no storing of it. It's just out. Maybe a couple things, here and there, but yeah. Uh
Well, like you said, you're shopping within your own home.
yeah.
Like I was in our main bathroom upstairs the other day and I'm looking at the pictures that I have in there. And they were pictures from a place that Frank and I used to go on a special little vacation, just the two of us every year. And I really started to look at them because their frames are gorgeous. And the pictures are the colors in the pictures. It all of a sudden it clicked with me like, holy cow, these work in this room, but they probably would look great in my peacock room.
Yeah.
And I'll have to show them to you, but
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, like I never would have thought of that before.
Right.
But I'm like starting to look around more and things are clicking in my head like, oh, you
Yeah.
could move this over here, you could paint this or you could change that and it would work here and here. And it's actually fun.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really fun.
Oh, I
I've been
bet.
loving this. I've been having a great time with it. And
Oh,
I just love the fact that I mean, I love to shop and I like bargains, but it's also been great not shopping and
yeah.
just, working with what I have and,
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Yeah. And honoring some of the pieces you have too. Like, we one of my favorite things that we've moved around in your home that is not it's not up there yet, but it's going to be when we went down to your basement and started redoing that room, that velvet chair that is, gosh, that's going to be so much fun upstairs right behind you with that
Mhm.
mustardy yellow with the peacock wall. That contrast is going to be so stunning. But knowing that this is like a moody room, like we want it to be a little bit dark and brooding, and then that vintage uh, floor lamp,
Mhm.
that big one that is just really very unique. Not You cannot go to Target these days and
Right.
get something like that. Those are so much fun, and we just literally, being able to see some of the different areas of your home and saying, "Oh my gosh, what is that thing hanging out in the corner? Can we try that upstairs? Like that is going to look stunning upstairs." I love that. I love that. So thank you for letting me browse all your rooms.
You're welcome. But that's what's amazing to me is like your memory is crazy. Your recall is crazy. And I'll talk to you and you'll see something and you'll point it out. And I'm like, oh, that. And you're like, yeah, that'd be great in another room, or this would be good if you move it over here. And it would totally, I was like, holy cow, like I've been here for how long and I've never
Yeah,
thought about that or
right,
noticed that or
right.
I mean, it's just amazing. Like your eye is so good, and how you can help, like like someone with the decor that I have, and then there might be in the collective, there might be a young girl who's got a very modern home, like very modern compared
Hmm.
to mine. Mine's
Yeah,
sort of still a little eclectic, I guess. And she'll do black and whites and beautiful color that is very muted, but it just looks so good the way that she has things decorated. And you totally know what to tell her to do. And then
yeah.
someone else might have a lake house or a farmhouse.
Hmm.
One of your recent podcasts with the woman that had that very dark lake house room,
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, this is so dark. This would look so beautiful. And you got have the before and after pictures. And
yeah,
it didn't even look like a lake house in the dark shades.
yeah.
They matched it. I totally get what she was doing, but if she wanted that kind of feel and that look, yes,
Right.
those walls should not be brown. They should be white and
Yeah,
brought in the blues and the lake view. And then it just like opened everything up and it's
yeah.
beautiful. Just beautiful.
Oh my gosh,
You
thank you
must
so
love it.
much.
You
Yeah.
have to love it.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I need to check in with her. That was a client from, was that before COVID? It might have been before COVID. It was a while ago, and
Maybe.
when I was working in person, and here's the
Yes, you were in
backstory.
person.
Yep, here's the backstory on that, Loraine. And for any of you who are listening who are like, what is she talking about? If you are a design bestie, that means you get my newsletters, you get sneak peeks of things that I don't share on the podcast. So before and after pictures, for example. Um, this lake house I was not hired by the owner of the lake house. I was hired by her two grown daughters who were like, Mom and Dad are out of town. Mom and Dad are out of town. We want to surprise them. Dad is totally on board. Here's our budget. Also, I think they contacted me like 2 days before they were leaving. So it was a quick turnaround. And of course, I'm sending pictures and we're talking over the phone ahead of time or on FaceTime and um, making this happen. And I had to rearrange a few things in my schedule to accommodate that short turnaround. Um, but how much fun. Mom loved it. The mom loved it. And then I helped her, paint her outside of her house too, and really kind of keep that momentum going and just really kind of pinpoint we are on the lake and we're embracing this. And we can see the gardens, we can see the trees, we can, inside out. It was just fantastic. So that was a surprise makeover. It was so much fun to be a part of. Yeah.
Really sweet.
Yeah, I love it. Love that dad was in on it too, and he just
Yeah.
was tickled. So that's fun.
Oh, great.
Okay, well, what would you say? Let me back up because you've mentioned a couple things, and then we'll wrap up since I know our time is getting short here. But you mentioned a couple things. We've worked together one-on-one
Mhm.
inside of decorating SOS calls. And you're also part of the collective, which is my monthly decorating membership, where I really give a lesson each month, and then we have group coaching. Can you talk about each of those experiences just a teeny tiny bit, since you did mention them?
Well, I love that SOS one-on-one with you. I like to be very personal because I have so many questions, as you said. So I always like make a list before we talk, and I sometimes do end up jumping from room to room, but these little tiny things, that gives me something to work on after I talk to you for till I see you again.
Yeah,
So, because sometimes I can't continue in the one room the way I'd like to because there's other obstacles. So then at least I have something I can do in the next room, and I can keep myself busy without driving myself crazy,
yeah,
that I'm not doing anything.
right,
So
right.
I'm very used to that. My job was a very proactive, constant one after the other. So I didn't have breaks. I didn't sit at a desk all day. I was on my feet. And so it's a different kind of, it's what I'm programmed to do. So
Yeah,
just because I'm retired, I can't just sit around all
yeah,
day. Uh, so I need to keep moving. So it's great because you flow with me. I mean, you're okay with it. You're not like, no, Loraine, we didn't finish this room, so we can't leave. We can't do anything else. You need to do this next
yeah,
step. You don't do that. You go with along with me and you help me with whatever tasks that I ask you to help me with so that I can continue.
yeah,
So I love the one-on-one with you, those SOS calls. As far as a collective, what's fun about that is after, say, we've had an SOS call, and then I have my little plan as to what my next task is going to be. Then in a few weeks, after that, usually we'll come upon a collective call. And then everybody gets, usually there's a different amount of people that join, but you have already calculated in your head how much time each person's entitled to because you'll have an hour
yeah,
for the collective Q&A. And so everybody gets a slot of time. And so I'll have whatever task I'm working on, I'll be able to say, oh, look, this is how far I've gotten, or I did it, this is it. What do you guys think? And then, you know, if I'm stuck, you'll be able to give me some input. So I don't always need to have that 1 hour.
yeah, yeah,
I can get my answers that way too, and then help me to move on to the next step.
yeah, yeah.
But,
Yeah, I feel like the collective, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but is kind of like in order to get the most out of it, we really have to have a one-on-one so that I have
mhm,
a general idea of what your home is, what your goals are, what's been keeping you stuck, guiding you through your aesthetic. And then the collective is a really nice like continuation so that you can get those teeny tiny little questions
mhm,
answered, like those check-ins, like little
yeah.
check-ins along the way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. But I think that SOS, the 1 hour with you, one on one, it's amazing how much we accomplish in
Mm.
that hour.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed. I'm always thinking, all right, well, I'll talk about this room and hopefully I'll get my questions answered. And then before I know it, within a few minutes, you've knocked them off the list. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, I can keep going. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just so helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
sometimes I think I'm done and then something, where I don't need any help, I'm going to just take it from here for a little while. And then as I get involved in a task, then I realize, well, I better ask for help on
Hmm.
this.
Yeah.
So then I'll come back and ask you again. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's
you're
really
always
fun
accepted.
on my end when I know that it's quiet. Like I know that we've been actively working on something. And I know that there's been a period of quiet in between like a call or what have you. Of course, sometimes life is happening. People are busy or what have you, but I know that there's things happening. Like there are like shopping trips to Home Goods or HomeSense, or there are you're ruminating over those conversations we've had, like that big, should I really paint or should I not? There's things happening in between. So I always love that space between those calls because it's a chance for me then to look forward to, I can't wait to see what you've done. I can't wait because we had a big conversation last time, and I can't wait to see what you've done, what you're thinking, how you're using that momentum to keep moving forward, all the things. So it's as much fun for me as it is for you guys.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
I do need time because I'll have an idea, but I have to really perk on it for a while and investigate and research so that when I actually go ahead and either spend the money or go through the effort, I know, like, yes, this is what I want to do. Because once I make a decision, then I move ahead and go for it.
Yeah.
And like even with changing the rooms that I had painted back, not back, but making them all the pink color on the one floor, like I knew that that was the right thing to do, but it just took me a while to really get myself together. So it took me about a week or so. And
Yeah.
then once I decided, like, yep, there's no way around this, this is going to have to be the answer,
Yeah. And
jumped in and did it.
okay, we had the call, you decided, you painted before we talked again. I love
Because
it.
by that point, I was just like, all right, Loraine, just get it together and do it.
I love it. I love it. Oh, well, what would you say to someone who has been, maybe they've been listening to the show for a while. They've been thinking, I I finally have a little bit of time, a little bit of time to, invest in my home. Maybe not a whole lot of money. That's okay. But they're finally realizing and eyes open to this idea that my home is just meh and I'm ready for a change, but they haven't made the jump yet. What would you say to those people?
Totally do it, but do it with you.
Oh,
Because honestly, because I've listened to, I don't know what happened. The other day I went on to podcasts and another person came up that has her own design, courses or just her podcast. I'm not sure. I didn't really listen long enough, but there's something, you have a very charismatic way. And it's honest and decent and true. It's not you're trying to make money or you have nothing else to do with your time, so you just thought you'd do a podcast. Or like what I think was really cool was on your introduction you always say how you were a ramen eating family. You were
ramen
shopping at
eating,
thrift
Goodwill shopping.
Goodwill shopping, that's the term. And I thought, oh my God, this person really understands
Yeah,
me. Like, this is great. And you're just so willing to work with what we have, work with us. There's no judgment. And, I see some of the people in the collective, I can tell by their homes. They definitely have more money and they definitely can go out and buy whatever they need. They just aren't sure what to do.
yeah,
Then you have other people that are more DIY people, and then you have people that are probably me is sort of in between. I buy things, but I also like to do things myself, and you help all of us. And it's such a wonderful group of women. I almost wish like we could get together for,
I know.
a book club, but it wouldn't be it
I
wouldn't be
know.
that. It would be
Wouldn't that be so
a
great?
design club, even though we're not designers, we would just have fun. Like,
Yeah,
they're wonderful people, and I think you learn a lot as being part of the collective by even seeing what other people do.
yeah.
And it teaches you, like, wow, that works for them, but that wouldn't work for me. So I have to remember that next time when I go shopping, even though I like that, I'll gravitate
Mhm.
towards it. Like, I found a store in town that I've been watching for a while that opened, and I thought it was a consignment shop, which is what gravitated me towards it. And then when I got there, I realized it was an antique store. But I went in anyway because I also love antiques. I'm all over the world on this thing,
Yeah,
modern antiques, whatever. But I went in and there was nothing there that was appealing. It was just old stuff. I can't even
Hmm.
say they were definitely antiques. And
Okay.
I walked around to be respectful and looked at everything. And then I thanked the woman and I left. And I thought, wow, would I have done this in the past? I don't
Mm,
know. Would I
yeah.
have bought something because I thought, I should
Yeah.
there, or I'll make it work. And
Uh-huh.
then there goes something else I don't need.
Yep. Yep.
So you've just really given me pause every time I go to think about making a purchase. Do I really need this? Is this going to work in my home? I
Hmm.
like it, but does that mean it's going to work?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
find something that I like that will work. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean because I'm buying something different than what I normally buy that I don't like it,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's taught me so much about just thinking. And I think it makes my husband real happy too.
Apart from the scaffolding, but yeah, yeah, right. Well, and that's so good because, and one of the things I say all the time is you literally can. I mean, if you want to decorate your home, you can do it all this weekend if you want, right? It's going to be hecka expensive. But it's also going to be a lot of decisions that you then later regret. And that, if they're big decisions, like monetary decisions, they're going to run the show. They're going to dictate the show. So when you can have some pause, gosh, you're doing so many good things, Loraine. When you can have some pause and consider what filters it goes through, like, because I always teach you guys, like, we want to filter any decision making through your aesthetic. We want to filter it through how you feel in the room. We want to filter it through the activities of your space. So, like, three filters already. Does this match? Does this match? It's like bringing a fact checker with you on your shopping trip,
Right.
not alone, Danny, in your head saying, put your credit card away, put your credit card away. Yeah, I'm thrilled. I love seeing the aha moments, love seeing the progress in your home, and it just is coming together so beautifully. I'm really proud of
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Well, the aesthetic is something that, you just mentioned that I hadn't thought about commenting on, but that is the key to
Hmm.
all of it.
Oh,
Um,
say that
and
again
I
louder
know
for those in the back, Lorraine.
use the word aesthetic. It's very important. But
Yeah,
it really it makes you pause and think like, okay, what the heck do I want to do? What do I like?
yeah,
Where am I coming from? It's nice to say, oh, I want a warm, happy house. Well, what does that mean?
yeah,
And like you
yes,
said, you can look at a picture, and for Sue, that might be warm and cozy. And to me, it might be like, I got to get out of this room. It's making
yeah,
me crazy.
yeah.
So, you really need to start to think first of the function of the room that you want to change, and what is the feel that you want that room to have,
Mhm.
and why are you changing it?
Right.
If you were comfortable with it, you wouldn't bother making a change.
Yeah.
So is it just, like you said, you could paint a wall and totally change the look of a room
Hmm.
and keep everything else the same.
Yeah.
Just move furniture around, you can make it look totally different.
Hmm.
So there's so many little things you can do that you guide us to do that don't cost any money, but maybe some extra, muscle,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is fine. But, knowing your aesthetic, doing mood boards, like I remember when this was the key, when I painted my rooms all these beautiful colors that they worked together, but not the way I laid them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you said, but Loraine, remember your mood board? The
Yeah.
walls were all very light colors, and I was like, yeah, I really love those rooms. And you're like, well,
Yeah.
is that what you did? Like, uh-oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, right, exactly. And you're okay. I mean, we could keep going on and on and on. Yeah,
No,
the understanding your aesthetic, and you, gosh, you went into such detail with that homework, laying out, and it was very clear all of your examples of what you thought your aesthetic was, and they're all light and airy and vintage mixed with modern, which, gosh, I love that aesthetic so much. But then when I saw your space, you're right, some of the vibrant colors and there's a place for that. And we realize, oh, that place is upstairs in the speakeasy where it is its own room, its own, I'm going to air quote, habitat, where it's meant to be moody and vibrant and like a place to just relax. But downstairs is a relax in a different way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Paying attention to those,
Yeah.
the aesthetic is so incredibly important.
But I never knew that. I never would have done it.
Yeah.
Um, Even arranging, having like three items together or using the picture as one and just having two, or like these little tips that I had no idea. I think I had my home set up more like you were saying, like in a store, how things are spaced apart so everybody
Yeah.
can see them. And I thought, oh, isn't that nice? You can see all these little things I have. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, no, that's not how you do it in a home. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow. Once you said, we'll move that a little closer, that little statue to that candle or something. And I was like, holy cow, like it took on a whole new look.
Yeah.
And that was cost nothing but to just know to do that. Like
Right.
these are interior designer tips that you're teaching that are worth their weight in gold.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you would not know that if you had someone come into your home and do it.
Right. Yeah,
And
you would just have the finished product and then you'd be afraid to like,
move it.
oh shoot, I need to take a picture, and then you'd be afraid to move it.
Yeah.
Right. And what we need to know is like yeah, I want to teach you guys so that you can do it now with me and helping you. And I love the move it 1 inch to the left. That's perfect. 1 inch. Oh, too much. But then it's fluid, right? You can change seasonally. You can change it when you realize, oh, I'm getting the itch and I just don't want to go to Home Goods. You can change it based on what you have in your own home. But now you have the foundation and the principles and my formula, honestly,
Mhm.
to do that. So it makes it easier. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, let's end with this one question. What is the best compliment you've gotten, and who was it from about what you're doing in your home?
Hmm. Well, I'd have to say for my children, my husband, um, that it's warm and welcoming and relaxing and comforting. I mean, like you're saying, each room is different, but they're in awe. They just love what I'm doing. They love that I love what I'm doing and that I'm
Yeah,
enjoying it so much. And I don't think they ever knew that I always wanted to do this.
yeah,
I never wanted to spend the money to hire someone and bring them in because I knew I wouldn't learn anything that way.
yeah,
And I wanted to, work with someone and try to learn on my own. And to see them come in here and be like, wow, look at that. Look at what you did. This is
yeah,
amazing. I think my daughter's now has her own place and she's learning from me as well, which
yeah,
is really interesting. And
yeah,
her case is totally different than mine. She's much younger,
right.
and it's interesting now when I look at her place and I see the things that she's doing, I can understand, okay, that's your world and this is my world, but we both appreciate each other's.
Yeah,
And it's really nice.
yeah.
It's really a great feeling.
Uh, I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and
Very
your
welcome.
insight and all of the things you've learned. We appreciate that. And thanks
Well,
for being a part of the collective and letting me come into your home. It just means the world to me.
I couldn't do all this without you, Danny. You just are truly amazing and kind and generous and professional. And I feel, even I say professional because you are, but I feel like you've become a great friend, and that means more to me,
Oh,
because you're just so warm and you always make me feel so comfortable. No question's a dumb question, and you help me. And I can tell, like, sometimes if I have an idea, you'll be like, well, you could try that, but maybe and I'm like, okay, she's guiding me a different way. And that's important. I need you to tell me, no,
yeah.
that's not going to work. It got to go.
Right. But wouldn't you rather hear, okay, you can
Yeah.
try that, but rather than, well, that's a dumb idea. Wow, where'd you get that idea, Lorraine?
But
Yeah.
I also
Yeah.
don't want you to just yes me to death. And
Yes, right.
I mean,
Yep.
that's not why we're here.
No,
So
no,
I'd rather
exactly.
you're honest.
Yep.
But you're doing
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah. And that is just, yeah, absolutely. So key. And it's just a matter of giving you some food for thought. Well, let's think about it this way. Let's
Right.
think about it this way. And before you make any decisions, put the credit card away and think about that. And then we'll come back. Yeah.
Right. You never misdirect anyone, which is really great.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you. I appreciate you too.
Hey, real quick before you go, if you learned something new or found value in today's podcast, would you head over to iTunes to Fig and Farm at Home and leave a review and subscribe to the show? That would be awesome. And if you'd like to connect with my community of mamas who are learning to be intentional storytellers within their own homes, join us at bit.ly/design101 group. There's always more room at the table. See you soon.